This lesson is for people who are conservative people who are part of the pro-democracy movement, but who want to maximize their influence on somebody in their circle who is likely to vote, but is either undecided or Trump curious, but not Trump committed. Because people who are committed to voting, but who are relatively undecided, are one of the gettable, high priority targets of the pro-democracy movement. What you want to do in the reflect step of the reach method is to reground to your intentions for yourself, for the other person, for the conversation. So for yourself, that means figuring out what you'll do to calm your body down and open your heart up. Calm your body down means things like deep breaths, or might mean progressive body relaxation. Everybody has different strategies. We have a worksheet that will give you some examples, but you got to find your own strategy about what works for you. You also want to rekindle your compassion for the other person. And so that sheet I talked about has compassion boosters. For example, thinking back to a past moment with them that was positive, thinking about them laughing, thinking about them crying. All of that can help open your heart up to the person. And then lastly is recommitting to what this conversation is trying to get accomplished. So you might think about the importance of democracy and how this election has democracy on the line. You might think about the importance of the conservative movement sustaining itself and how this election is about that. There's all manner of things you might think about. But the point is you want to ground yourself in your intention about yourself, them, and the conversation. Now you also want to think a little bit about the bailout strategy. This is a compassion-based effort. It usually goes well, but sometimes it goes awry. So you want to think about, if this goes south, what am I going to do? Am I going to blame myself? Like, I realize I'm hungry, and we probably shouldn't talk about this now, but let's talk about it at some other point. You might want to blame the setting. It's a little cold in here. I realize that, and we should probably have this conversation another time. What you want to avoid is just blaming them, even if they act out another problem. I like a kindergarten teacher. I think that we're not ready to have this conversation now. I'm triggering you, you're triggering me. Let's talk about this at some other point. Now, this step of calming down is particularly important, and you can imagine harder for progressive to do. One of your superpowers is to be able to do this. And it's important to figure out what you want to do that. So I would say it's important to think about, what do you want to do to calm yourself down before the conversation and during it? Are there things you want to do for these kind of conversations in general, or for this particular person that you're talking with? If you like the content of this video, please press like or subscribe, because that helps the algorithm push it out to more people who might want to see it. Anything you do in support, whether it's a like or a subscribe or a share, or even a small financial contribution to this self-funded project, is helpful in making sure we can continue this important work of spreading compassion for the sake of democracy.